There are three things that the defense now is not allowed to use against the offense, which takes away some of the stuff that you guys can do. You want to show me the three things?
Yes.
That are not legal?
Hands in the face mask.
That one?
Grabbing those face masks.
Yeah.
Head slap.
You told me you weren't going to hurt me.
Well,
Ooh. I didn't have bars in here. God.
Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Game time, Brian. Otherwise known as off. We'll leave it at that. Because at some point, I'm not going to be, I guess I'll always be the mailman, but in a few years, it'll be game time, Brian, full time, which will be fun. Work is not what it used to be. That's for sure. But anyway, good morning, everybody. We are now 20 days away from real football. Believe it or not, we are less than 3 full weeks away from the opening game, September 5th, Thursday night game. Let me see who that is. Put it in no, just hang on a second. This is live. Ravens at the Chiefs, September 5th, followed by September 6th, my return to work date. Packers at the Eagles home game in Brazil. Eagles are a 2-point underdog, and the Chiefs are a 3-point underdog. So, Chiefs, Ravens is different. You know how the Chiefs always seem to start off a little on the slower side. The Eagles, that's going to be a very interesting game to me. On the surface, I'm really curious as to why the Eagles are a 2-point favorite. Probably because of the uncertainty with Green Bay being young. You know, I don't know, but I just think if Eagles go and dominate that game, then watch out, right? I think we're all going to be on notice. If they lose, which I think I'm going to predict them to lose, which is not going to be, you know, we're still 21 days away from that game. If they lose it, it's not the end of the world. I'm just now getting into my predictions after this next preseason game Saturday night, which we will be streaming, by the way. We'll see. We'll drink it in. Just some things off the top. We did talk about the game, the bright spots, low spots. I've been hard on this player. He seems to have done better as of late. He's still not a starter in my mind, but Chuma Edoga hurt a toe/foot. He's in a walking boot. That's why you saw Tyler Guyton earlier in the game. They're trying to ease him in. But make no mistake, the plan was always to start Tyler Guyton. So I believe that they need to have in my opinion, with Chuma Edoga now in a walking boot. He may be ready by week 1, so this may be all moot. But you need to, if you're going to ever, in a pinch, move Tyler Smith out the left tackle, he might need to get some reps there. Just saying. God forbid Guyton gets injured. Things happen. It's a long season. Now, I will say, in watching the All 22, Tyler Guyton, he wasn't always perfect, okay? There was a lot of snaps where his first step was wrong. The Van Brockenberg, or I think I called him Dracula, he is Sirianni's nephew, the edge rusher for the Rams, beat him to the outside. Like, the Guyton kind of dipped inside and put his hands, and Van Brockenberg was they were still attached, but he definitely had the angle. But the one thing you cannot teach is just God gifted athleticism. And Tyler Guyton is very, very athletic. Listen, again, we got to couch it. He's not going up against the big boys. I mean, they're all big, but he ain't going against Myles Garrett, right, in preseason. That's why they're trying to work on him slowly. They're trying to work on him slowly, and they're trying to, just nail down the fundamentals. Because you saw a couple times in that game where he didn't get beat because of his athleticism, but we don't know what's really going to happen against guys like Myles Garrett. There was only a few of those that he had that issue where he kind of dipped in and the guy was ripping outside, but he was able to stay with him and push him back behind the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Very, very athletic man for his 6'8". He doesn't look it until you see him standing next to other people. 6'8" human being to be that well. And then more importantly, I always expected him to be a good pass rusher because of his arm length and just his athleticism, his feet. Duke Manyweather has been working with him since the draft, since Dallas drafted him. You could tell in the offseason a lot, if not all of the offensive linemen, especially the ones that stay local. And there was a full building in the offseason program this year. So probably 99% of them were across the street at Duke Manyweather's offensive line, footwork. Basically, he's the offensive line guru. So you could tell. Dallas, again, to those trolls out there, I love you, Drew, but that's going to be a strength of their team, their offensive line depth. Now, again, that's me projecting forward, but Cooper Beebe had a wonderful game, not at center. When he went to guard, as Mickey Spagnola likes to say, he plays guard. He was dominant. He is a work in progress at the center position, but it wasn't horrible. It really was not horrible for not doing it since high school. So Brock Hoffman's a man. What they're doing is trying to find out who indeed is going to be that backup again if there's an issue, which is why you saw T.J. Bass and Shipley also getting work at center. So it'll be interesting what they do with the offensive line because Josh Ball tackle is horrendous. Josh Ball pass blocking is not good, but Josh Ball run blocking is above average. So it's like, do you keep a guy like a Josh Ball just for goal line packages or jumbo packages? I mean, I don't think so. Maybe you cut him. I don't know if he has any options left. You bring him back to the practice squad. It's time to move on. Matt Waletzko or Asim Richards. I don't care that Asim Richards was a 5th-round draft pick. The best man wins, stays on the team. The other guy needs to get cut. Sorry, that's how it works in the NFL. I hate when NFL teams keep their players way too long because we drafted them. The one thing you get, which is interesting because Zimmer's only on a 1-year deal. What you get is you get the coaches saying, well, that's not my guy. I didn't draft him. Like Zimmer's guys, all the draft picks this year are Zimmer's guys. They're going to make the team. And most of the free agents, I'm not saying all of them, and they will cut some. But we talked about it. We talked about the interesting, and we got time to go over that, see them. We're going to see them 2 more times. Like I said, Dallas is scrimmaging the Rams again. Watch out for that today. That's the important thing to remember. I'll probably do a video after the scrimmage or after they upload all the highlights. They won't let me go live while they're going live to share their screen. That would be a copyright. So that's where the real work is being done. That's when you see Dak play. That's when you'll see all the ones and twos get. You saw less than maybe, I think, 7 players actually throughout the game maybe got some limited snaps. That you can't bench everybody, like the Eagles. Eagles had a bunch of guys that are going to see a lot of playing time that were playing. You can't bench them all. You got to play a game, so, and be competitive in doing so. But watching the All-22, my God, Trey Lance missed a wide open Jalen Moreno Cropper. I think he's edging out Tyrone Billy Williams, but or is it Johnson? Maybe it's Tyrone Billy Johnson. I got Billy D. Williams in my head. I got Billy D.
Settle down just a little bit.
Jerry, relax, bro. Relax. I don't really got time for you.
I don't have the patience to jack with you today.
Damn, Jerry's shots fired, man. Shots fired. That's all right. It's okay, Jerry. So yeah, look out for the scrimmage today. The Rams are going to scrimmage the Cowboys. I think it's today. I have to double check. I believe it's today. They agreed to do it again, and Sean McVay don't play any starters as well. So yeah, we lost to a bunch of backups. We played a bunch of backups. If you notice, the Rams, Sean McVay is a brilliant head coach. Is he perfect? No, but he knows what he's doing. He's scheduled these type of practices a lot throughout his training camp. He's going to do it with the Raiders. He's going to do it with multiple teams because that's when you could play in a controlled environment and say, don't touch my quarterback. Don't tackle to the ground necessarily when you're on the outside, like running backs and receivers. But you get to see the interior. You get to see the linebackers flow, the safeties. So that's just a smart way of doing business. So, we shall see. Looking forward to Saturday night's game with the Raiders. I expect Trey Lance, but Trey Lance missed an open Jalen Moreno Cropper, and he also missed a tight end, Noah Fant. Princeton Fant. Sorry, Princeton Fant. It was a wheel play with Fant, and they sent the running back to the sideline, which the linebacker went right to the running back, leaving him wide open. Lance didn't see it, and you saw the overthrow wide open in the end zone. You get 4 turnovers, you got to score. Again, I did see this where, the problem is, like, I was watching Voch Lombardi, obviously the GOAT. Voch, you are the man. As far as film goes, he's a film guy. Yeah, he makes it easy for the layman and explains what's right and what's wrong when it comes to football 101. Voch Lombardi is the best at that. I'm not a film guy. I'll give you my opinion. I'll give you an educated opinion from my years and years and years of watching football. But if you want the X's and O's and not the Jimmys and Joes, and he's just going to call it right down, or the X's and O's about the Jimmys and Joes, you check out Voch if you haven't already. He's trying to get to 100K by the end of the season. Let's all show him some support if you're not already subscribed to Voch. But he showed those plays. So it was very, it's very frustrating. But again, Dak wouldn't miss that he was also saying, Voch was saying that in high school, a receiver you open is this much, okay? In college, it's this much. In the pros, it's that much, right? In the pros, it's that much. He did mention for my Eagle subscribers that it seems like the Eagles always have an option with a running back who always seems to be wide open over on the sideline, which is true. Voch is very observant when it comes to that. But Trey Lance, his timing, he just seemed a little bit hesitant at times to pull the trigger. Or he's waiting him to get way wide open. And it's not going to happen in the pros. It's not. Unless you're Dallas against Green Bay in the playoffs. So, anyway. But anyway, I want to listen to, I haven't watched it. So we're going to share some of Get Up, and I'm going to comment on it as it's being played. I'm curious to see. They were talking about Ceedee Lamb's holdout only hurts the Cowboys. I'm only bringing that up because Ceedee supposedly late last night has agreed to terms on the money. Now it's just structure, i.e. guaranteed. There's a big difference between Justin Jefferson, I believe, is $110 million guaranteed over the 4 years, as opposed to the next guy is like 87. This is a big difference. So what are those guarantees? So let's listen to Get Up and see exactly what they have to say about it.
Seem to recognize and acknowledge that probably wasn't the right thing to say.
I think I got in trouble a little the other day when I said, look, we're not urgent about Ceedee. Well, no one appreciates Ceedee being on the field any more than I do. Now, I understand completely the angst that's happening when you're anxious about and someone says anything about whether you're missed or not. Well, Ceedee, you're missed, okay? But you're not missed out here competing, and it doesn't put any pressure any place on us.
So it feels like we're...
Now, just real quick, when he talks, oh, I can't stand him. Oh, God. Daniel Lowes he's going to speak, everybody. The man who can't control his farce when he's on an interview. But yes, Dan, look at him. He's a mean mugging, this guy. But when you hear Jerry say it's different, so I would just say, and I'm guilty on this as well. Sometimes it's better to actually watch the guy talk than hear the quotes in quotes, the line in quotations, because it takes it out of context, I think. But let's hear what Daniel Lowes has to say.
What he's trying to do there, Graziano, is not let this get personal, because when those initial comments came out last week,
again.
We
Look
saw
he's trying to hold it in.
quote tweet them with the letters LOL, and then Micah Parsons co-signing that by quote tweeting. And so there is always a bad place when negotiations become personal. And so Jerry Jones is trying not to let this become personal, while at the same time saying, but this doesn't mean that I'm in any trouble in this negotiation, right? That's sort of what it sounds like he's saying.
Yeah, when they say, is there a sense of urgency to get it done, he's going to say no, because if he says yes, he looks desperate, that hurts his negotiating position. But obviously he figured out, that was probably a little too cold.
A little bit.
Considering what we want to end up happening is he comes back and plays for us for a long time. So, look, they're still talking. I think it's a deal that'll get done. I really do. Before the season starts, I don't think there's any issue. It's just taking a very long time, and that's the way things have gone a lot of times with the Cowboys and their big stars.
For a lot of folks who are home right now watching and wondering, well, isn't Ceedee Lamb getting fined a fortune every day that he misses?
Well, yeah.
Because he's on his rookie contract,
Bang.
as opposed to someone like Hassan Reddick, those fines can be
They can forgive the fines, right. Trent Williams also, I think, he's getting fined.
Fined like crazy, which is why the hold-in makes so much more sense than the hold-out. But who am I to...
Well, when Trent Williams is fined, he's already banked probably over $100 million. So it's a little different, right? A little bit, Dan Graziano? A little bit?
Say one way or the other, the Ceedee Lamb thing, D. Wood, it doesn't make any sense to me. Help me.
I can't. I can't give you any type of reasonable thing to say here. All these guys, we showed in the first hour the graphic of all these guys on their rookie deals, wide receivers. They've had their contracts, they've signed new contracts.
Yeah.
What is the big deal? What is the holdup in giving this guy what he deserves, what he needs? I mean, look, it's right
Justin
there.
Jefferson's
it's laid out for the
ass.
Cowboys right there. Okay? All you have to do is slide them somewhere
34,
in there
done.
in those numbers where Justin Jefferson and A.J. Brown is.
Yeah, just look at those numbers. Justin Jefferson's at $35 million. From what I'm hearing, Ceedee's is going to come in like 33 something, like $33 million. But it's about the guarantees. It really doesn't matter. AJ, but look at the Eagles. They signed Devontae on a team-friendly deal. Devontae, hell of a guy. That was his first. And he was number 9 overall. So that was his first big deal, and he took a team-friendly. Shout out to him. A.J. Brown ain't gonna do that, but A.J. Brown. They took care of him. Smart. I think it's fair to say he should be in around 33. It just all comes down to the guarantees, people.
I don't understand you not getting the deal done. And each day that Ceedee Lamb is not in camp, it only hurts not only Ceedee Lamb, it hurts the Cowboys because
That's where I would disagree. What it has done is allowed Jalen Tolbert to get a ton of reps as well as Jalen Brooks. Jalen Tolbert has done so well in the preseason, picking up where he left off, that he is a very, very high-end number 3, might be pushing number 2 because of all the extra reps. So Damian Woody, you are wrong there, sir. And as far as Jalen Brooks, my guy, Jalen Brooks had, 3 catches for just about 50 yards in the game. And that's, I believe he did most of his damage with 2 of those balls were from Cooper Rush. He can see the field a lot better than Trey Lance at this stage of his career. But let's listen to more to Damian Woody.
as Orlowski had talked about in the first hour, we've seen it time and time again. These guys hold out, then all of a sudden some injury, or you just you get off to a slow start because you get the lack of reps and the chemistry in training camp.
To make clear what that graphic you were looking at was, the 8 names that were shaded in there that were dark, so 8 of the 10, they got their contracts this summer.
Right.
There were 2 Dolphins and 2 Eagles on this list. So 8 of the top 10 wide receiver deals got done this summer. To me, there's no earthly reason why the CD thing hasn't been done. And frankly, I think this is a message to the ownership in Cincinnati too. Get Jamar Chase's deal done now. It's not going to get cheaper. It's not like next year he's going to say, well, you know what, I'll take less money after my 4th year. The earlier you get these deals done,
Very
the better.
true.
Orlovsky, go.
The last time we saw Ceedee Lamb on the field with Dak Prescott, they looked to be completely on different pages. They got whooped in that Green Bay game. They were completely on different pages. So anybody who tells me, oh, reps don't matter, they do. Second thing, go back to last season with Ceedee Lamb. 100.
Hold up. Hey, Dan, you're lousy. Number one, it looks like you need a Tums or something. You look like you're a little. I think you need a Pepsid. It's like you're a little gassy today, my man. Here's the deal. Wrong again. Yeah, they look lousy. The whole team looked lousy. You just keep going back to the one playoff game, and I get it. People are pissed. But he also set a franchise record for over 1,700 yards receiving. Dan, continue.
181 targets. That ranked first in the NFL. 135 catches. That ranked first in the NFL. 596 routes run. That ranked 5th in the NFL. We cannot expect that type of volume or production if he's not in football shape. And I don't care how much you run on your own. You have to be in football shape to go play the actual game. So
that I agree with. There's plenty of time, Daniel Lousy. Plenty of time. Plenty.
Is Ceedee Lamb, is Dak Prescott set up to fail without Ceedee Lamb in training camp? Absolutely. Is Ceedee Lamb set up to fail without being in training camp? Absolutely. I agree with Graz. I think the deal gets done, and he knows way more about it than I do before camp. But to think that the holdout isn't going to have some type of butterfly effect in a negative fashion for both the team, the quarterback, and...
Again, I disagree because we've already seen the effect of more reps for the young guys. Now it's elevated people that you had more questions about than you... I get it. I know what he's saying. If you go into the season and he doesn't practice and you rolls into game 1, I get it. Dan, you're lousy. I get it. But we got plenty of time. I just laid out. There's 20 days from Thursday. So we got 23 days. He just needs 10 days of camp. He needs 10 days of working with Dak, working with Cooper, doing his route running. He'll be fine. He keeps himself in tip-top shape. Like yourself, Dan.
And the individual performance, that's unrealistic for us to feel that way.
Well, you know what I'm remembering, and this was before you went on your tour, like right at the time that teams were starting to report. It was like the week that teams were starting to report. It was my first week back from vacation. So this was like the second week of July. Okay. We were talking about Ceedee still doesn't have a deal, and he's likely to hold out. And my reaction was, that doesn't mean it. He'll get it done. Let me know if we get into August and he doesn't have. Well, now we're in the middle of August. We have now gotten to the point where it does genuinely start to matter.
Not really,
The problem
right?
is, like, the Cowboys
13th?
are saying, look, we're going to have to do Dak Prescott. We're going to have to
Couple
do
more
Michael
days.
Parsons. We have to structure this deal in a way that allows us to get those other deals done. And Ceedee Lamb is saying, which again is the player's right, and every single time, not my problem. Like, this is the market. This is what the top wide receivers are making. Nobody was better than I was last year. I need to be up there and, structure it however you want, but I need X, Y, and Z or else I'm not signing. And so that's why it lingers. But yeah, as you get closer to the season, that's your, as a player, that's your leverage. Hey, this is what life without me looks like. As we get closer to the season, you have to confront that. And if you don't like it,
sign Saquon Barkley, add to their defense. Somehow other teams manage to do what the Cowboys are suggesting is impossible to do. I think one of the, Houdini, right? You have to be Houdini to do this?
The Eagles go to their guys real early for extensions.
Yes, they do. They do go very early. We're going to stop that one there. They go very early to get their extensions. And that's all I was telling Primetime Phil. I told, Phil joined me yesterday on my lunchtime chat. Oh, sorry. Phil joined me. Here we go. From my lunchtime chat yesterday, and we talked. That's been my opinion for a while now. That Dallas just has to identify earlier on in the process what they're doing with players, okay? You need to look ahead. I keep hearing how great Jerry is at knowing the salary cap 5 years out. Okay, well, I want to know after you draft a guy, you need to have an idea after year 2, okay? Especially on a guy not drafted in the first round. You got a 4-year deal. By the end of year 3, you need to know. Try and get that contract done early. If you would have signed Ceedee last year and you would have thrown him $30 million annually, he probably would have jumped all over it. Wow. You know what I mean? And they want to tell you that that those players didn't want to. Maybe they did. Maybe Ceedee didn't. The real high-end guys maybe are going to wait until they see more leaves to fall with their fellow players. But either way, it's going to get done. I agree. It needs to get done sooner rather than later. Dan, you're lousy. And really, Dan, get like GasX or something, especially when you know you're going to be on camera, because we've seen multiple videos where you're just unloading. Normally on the Pat McAfee show, so I guess it's an inside joke, but it's kind of disgusting, my guy. I just like the kid Daniel Orlovsky because he's the resident Dallas hater. That's what. There's always one on every panel, right? We know Shady is. So, but all right, everybody, that's going to be my morning video for this morning. Mark Holmes should be home by now. He's probably in bed. He took the red eye, so maybe I'll bring him on later with some sort of lunchtime chat. Just to, we'll go over his trip a little bit, but maybe he won't want to do that. He didn't really shout me out at all while he was out there. That's all good, bro. It is what it is. No, I'm joking, but maybe, what's today? Today's Tuesday? Yeah, maybe he'll come on because he's got a few days before his Friday live stream where he can go over everything. But I'd like to pick his brain a little bit, so maybe I'll send him a text to join me on my lunchtime chat. But all right, everybody, that's it for me. I will talk to everybody a little later. And always never forget.
How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Late.